Yup. The ending of this cracks me up. Exactly. So how is this whole old thing feeling?
You know what? It was sort of paralysis by analysis last time. I felt like. I felt like I was really overthinking.
It's what happens when we do these things. We call your attention to something, and then you guys start thinking, and then it's. How'd the group sound? I don't know. That was a bass clarinet solo. Really? I don't know. So, okay. All right. You ever play paddleball? Those old, it's kind of, I'm dating myself. Wooden,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
rubber band, staple, red ball on the end. I was terrible at it,
Me
right?
too.
But a lot of people I knew were like bang, 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 paddleball, bang, bang, bang. Could you start this? And now what this, it's a different concept of where the ictus is. Because if you're thinking paddleball, you go, well, do you want the paddle ball, is it down? The ball is going down? No, I want you to think about bang, 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 bang. Paddle,
Okay. So feel up.
bing, 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 bing. And with paddleball, remember, we're vip, vip. Somehow we're controlling the viscosity of what it's going through. That it's like vip, 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 vip. It's not bam, 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 bam.
Sure.
Try it.
Okay.
With just that carefree. That's all you're doing. Just paddleball.
So from the beginning.
Yep, from the beginning. Paddleball, paddleball. Okay, that's just kind of one other thing I want you to just kind of think about.
Okay.
Can you think about talk to me about just these few elements we have at the beginning?
Okay.
What's the deal with the clarinets? Give me some adjectives to describe them.
Well, it should feel light.
Mm-hmm.
It should feel bright.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there should be a delineation between the slur and the tongue because it's there.
Oh, good. I agree. What about the horn part? Adjectives. Give me
Okay,
some.
so I'm thinking like this is a long adjective, but it's sort of like it should be like your subconscious, in a way. That makes any sense. Right.
Got some Sigmund Freud stuff.
Is that-
I'm really afraid now. but kind of an underlying something else happening. All right. Now talk about the piccolo stuff.
I hear again like a dance almost.
Got something else. What if you say, could it be more dance-like, and they played exactly the same? Then what do you tell?
More bright.
Okay. This is kind of a rehearsal thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because, when I did my student teaching, it was at Lake Mary High School here in Florida. And I told the band my one thing I knew to get them to play shorter, and it didn't work. And I said, could we blah, blah, blah. And they were like, la, 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 because they're young.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm done. I don't know what else to do. So the band director at the time, Terry Patishall, took me. She's like, some people are visual learners. Why don't you try Joe? And next day I went in and tried it. I'm like, hey, it worked. Cool. So just make sure you got a bunch of ways to explain and also show.
Okay.
What I want to see at the beginning of this is a little more of this playfulness. This is hilarious music. You know, and then and then they come in. That is how I justify in my mind doing anything more than this. Right? Because you could start this may be fine. Try it.
Okay.
So deal with all those little emotions and see if you can change the way they play for good.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So you're a bar early.
So I try to do something.
Hey, no. Stuff like that happens. I'll stop my band. I go, hey, can we go back? And yeah, and that forte will actually be in the right spot
Yeah.
from the podium. And they look at me and they're like, yeah, bingo, big guy. So was that a little bit more interesting than the very first time? Well, it was. I agree. It's a little bit more interesting.
Okay.
Then if you want, I don't know, you just yum. And then when you get into this yum, what's that about?
Oh, I feel like that's like a hoedown dance. Is that what you're asking?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Hey, yum, and not my kind of dancing, but that's all right.
Okay.
So can you let them in on more of the hoedown?
Yeah.
Start somewhere before 20.
We could go.
You choose. You're a conductor. You guys go.
Let's go at 11.
Okay. And when you get to that forte, they're not going to do hoedown unless they see hoedown. So you have to prepare hoedown. Okay. These guys that have the glorious light shining on them, they're giving you quite a bit on yum bumpa, and you're not really looking at them. So if they give you that much sound, if you actually paid attention to them, it would be massive. I'm just curious. This is all good, and the good thing about this piece is the movements are short, and we can mess around with this stuff.
Sure.
Be careful on the hoedown. You don't annihilate the last note.
Okay.
Whack! I mean, if they played what you showed them,
Yeah.
you'd think, oh, that's a pretty harsh sound, and they'd think, dude, I'm giving you what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just thinking about all these little things in here, and these guys, from the very first time I thought, horns, wow, geez, and you never quite looked at them. Let's see what they give you if you actually look at them.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
So find a spot.
Yeah. Let's start. Let's start at 19. The hoedown.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So here's one thing I think that can help the bass clarinets is to make sure you're showing them where this is.
Okay.
You know, right? And actually, what they have to do is written kind of goes against your natural inclination as a player.
Okay.
Usually, you might think because we know lower notes they don't project as well, so we try to intensify them. But Persichetti wants them to do just the opposite.
Right.
So that's a spot where you help them a little bit there.
Okay.
What'd you think of the horns?
I mean, they're always awesome.
Yeah.
Our horn section is amazing, but I looked at when I made communication. I definitely felt a presence in
Yeah.
a different way.
Yeah. So just and make sure it's sustained eye contact too.
Yeah.
Not the eye contact is you can ask for money. You want to ride? No, I really don't have time. No, but make sure it's yum pimpa. So that's just a little thing there. And there's so much of this in this whole piece that what about the little xylophone thing? Dicky kink,
Yeah.
dicky kink. Is it or wee? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just zuckadink, zuckadoo. So you just get around like this. But the thing that, just as kind of our initial entry on just kind of easing up a bit,
Yeah.
that's better.
Okay.
That's better. Because for like your long-term health and all, we want this to, you could just stand here all day and be really with them.
Okay.
Yeah. How much time do we have left? 0.
Okay. Great. Thank you very
All right,
much.
welcome. Nice tie.
Thanks.
Yeah. Could use a better prep on that. So what I'd like you to do is go back and look at this, compare what you're doing right now with what you did in the Mozart earlier, and see if there's any difference. Dry, dry, dry. How do you want this to sound? Do you want a dynamic difference there or not? What about the tuba line? Are you happy with those note lengths?
It was sort of paralysis by analysis last time. I felt like I was really overthinking.
Call your attention to something, and then you guys start
much drier with the right hand. Now big. That's a moment that's got to happen.
That is how I justify in my mind doing anything more than this. Right? I think if we start this, maybe fun. Try it. Okay. So deal with all those little emotions. Okay. And see if you can change the way they play for good. Okay.
Not for bad.
Stuff like that happens. I'll stop my band. Okay, can we go back and get in that full table back and be in the right spot? So was that a little bit more interesting than the very first time? Well, I agree. It's a little bit more interesting. Okay. Then if you want, I don't know, you just want to and then when you get into this, what's that about?
Well, I feel like that's like a hoedown dance. Is that what you're asking?
It's not my kind of dancing. So can you let them in on more of a hold down?
Yeah.
Start before somewhere before.
Let's go at 11.
Don't look down. So Andy, come to a place of rest, then start. Don't rush into it.
I mean, they're all the top. But I looked. When I made communication, it definitely felt like I was in a different way.
So just and make sure it's sustained eye contact.
Yeah.
Not the eye contact with asking you for money. You want to ride? No, I did this a couple times. But make sure it's so that's just a little bit. And there's so much of this in this piece that what about the little xylophone thing?
Yeah.
Is it or I don't know.
Yeah.
Zippity? So you just get around like this. But the thing that, just as kind of our initial entry, just kind of easing up a bit,
Yeah.
that's better.
Okay.
That's better. Because for like your long-term Erica,
Yeah.
you could just say no A.
Okay.
How much time do we have left? 0.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.